Hello everyone, Chain over here. As we always know, if you like the videos, subscribe and like the videos so it's easier for people to see them. And now let's go about this. This will be a video about trinkets. As you know, of course, everything is possible to change. So if you are seeing this video and it's not this week or the next week maybe, before a new build comes, kind of ignore the information because it can be outdated. I will try to make new videos when there is a build, so you can check the date. I'm going to post it in the title. If you are in mobile, it's way easier to see. And now let's talk about trinkets. So right now we have access to different kind of trinkets that we will get from dungeons and from raid. I don't put the PvP trinkets because they are hard to get and they also are not really strong for us, at least for what I can see. The badge, that is like a 1 minute use trinket that can be good for some specs. We don't really care that much about it because we want or 2 minute strong trinkets, or in the case of dust we can also have a 3 minute strong trinket. So first I will talk about the ones from dungeons because it will be way faster. They are kind of not that good for Subletly. We don't like haste that much, but they can be decent for single target at least. We have three trinkets that can be decent for single target, and they are the accelerating sunglass, the nightmare eggshell, and the spiked counterweight. These three trinkets can be decent, let's say, in a build that is not dust. Why? Because they struggle a little bit to get their dance out of cooldown in the places they want to be. I will also make a video about the build that does not use dust. Basically, what you do is you want two dances for every time you use flagellation and shadow blades every 2 minutes. So you have a strong window over there, and then you want at least one dance every symbols of death and secret technique in between. You can get three of them more likely, or two, and that helps. So that's why haste can be kind of good. Haste also affects rupture. You get more ticks, and for example, if you are in the nightmare eggshell proc and you have like, this will be when it's 460 or 470 or even more, it will be like 6 or 7k haste. If you proc a rupture with a tier set, it's going to do a lot of damage. A spiked counterweight, it just does decent damage and also get affected by our find weakness. Remember, find weakness affects all the trinkets that do physical damage. There is also another kind of hidden trinket, let's say. It's like a leaf that drops from Everbloom for healers. It used to give a spirit, now it gives versatility, and it procs a crazy amount of versatility. Maybe that trinket is good for us, like the House of Valor one that was only for tanks, but was also decent for us because it gave mastery on use, and then use was some damage. Now let's talk about the good, well, the strongest trinkets. In this case, are raid ones. In the raid, we have access to trinkets that are really strong, as you always know. This is the strongest one, the Ashes of the Ember Soul. I also forgot about the Mirror of Fractured Tomorrows. It's still really good for Mythic Plus, and it can be good for single target in a dust build that can use two on uses. I will talk that more in the video with dust, because if you proc mastery, it's a huge bonus to mastery. As you can see, we get 40% increased finisher damage. That's really strong. Now, I already talked about Ashes of the Ember Souls. When you pop this trinket for the first 3 seconds, you get the full value of 4300 agility, and then it decays every 3 seconds. Of course, you also lose the passive bonus for haste for the half of the duration of the cooldown of this trinket for 60 seconds. But it syncs really well with our shadow blades that are 2 minutes. And with dust, we also use this as a powerful tool to get strong finishers and also to pop our sepsis and do a lot of damage. And also with Gormos Bite. Now, other trinkets. Augury of the Primal Flame. Right now, it's kind of underpowered. I'm talking about 1st of October. it just doesn't do that much damage. When it procs, you get like almost, as you can see, 200k, but you have to take into account that this is like normal high level trinket, or maybe even looking for raid. So it will do more damage in normal and heroic, but it's still kind of bad compared right now, at least, to the Ember Soul one. Now we have the Cataclysmic Signet brand. This trinket is like if you play BFA at the end, the last season, you had infinite stars. It's the same. It takes a long while to ramp usually, and it's completely random. You can ramp at 2 minutes or ramp at 4 minutes, but when you get those 15 stacks, it suddenly does crazy amounts of damage. So if you play a 6-minute fight, the first 4 minutes it will do like 0 point something percent of your damage, and then the last minute it will do like 10 to 20%. It's crazy. Also in Mythic Plus, if you can get the stacks all the time, it's going to completely destroy everything. But something important, in 5 seconds you begin losing stacks, and if you lose one stack, it's already quite hard to get it back. You can take up to 1 minute or something to get the last stack, and it drops after 15 seconds. So if you have no chain pulling tank, it's going to be really bad. The Coiled Serpent Idol, it's kind of the same as the Serpentis Trinket, and it also has an RG element of every third summoning you call 3. So if you have any kind of damage amp or something and you proc the 3 of them, and it's going to do a lot of damage. If not, it does kind of decent damage. It's like the Echo of Serpentrix of the spawn of Gahun, the trinket from Gahun that spawned some tentacles that did damage. At least in this case, as you can see, if the target dies while it's getting focused, it does some volcanic damage to enemies around it. Now the Bandolier of Twisted Blades. This trinket, it's kind of like an unused that just does damage, but it does damage instantly, and there's 3 seconds after the blades come back and do damage. As always, all the trinkets that do damage now, they get extra damage per target up to 4. And now finally we have Peep's Emerald Friendship Badge. You equip this trinket and you get one of the 3 buffs, as you can see, 253 of Mastery, Versatility, or Critical Strike, and every so often it procs the one that you have, begins on 3k, and every single second it goes down until it goes to 0, and then you go to another friend or the same friend. I think it's kind of a little bug, but we don't know, and you can check in the logs in one of the videos that I posted. Sometimes it just repeats the same one a lot of the times, and sometimes it just changes and does 1, 2, 3. So those are all of the trinkets right now that are available and that we can use. My power scale right now, it will be these 2 unused trinkets are kind of good. You know, the Ember Soul is going to be most likely one that we don't take off. So if we have prior for the trinket, it will be really good. Now, next one will be the Cataclysmic Signet brand, because even if it takes a long while to proc and get to those 15 stacks, when it gets to those 15 stacks, it does a crazy amount of damage, and usually the hardest fights are the longest ones. So if you can ramp and get the stacks at 2 or 3 minutes and the fight is 10 or more, you are going to have that super strong trinket for that long while. Afterwards, you have these dungeon trinkets. They are kind of meh. I mean, if you get them a higher level, you will use them for a while because they get a lot of main stat, and this does kind of proc a bit the counterweight. And then Bandolier, Augury, and the Coiled Serpent Idol, at least right now in the PTR, they are quite underpowered in the damage contribution that they do. So that will be all more or less. And also, of course, Pip's Emerald Friendship Badge is really hard to quantify. Right now, we are kind of mostly using these 2, the Pips and the Ashes of the Ember Soul, because most fights in Mythic Plus or in Raid are kind of short, so you can get the full value of the signet brand. I think the signet brand is something when you have a boss that is at least 6 to 7 minutes long, because the farthest it has taken us to ramp, it has been like 5 minutes, but after those 5 minutes it has done like almost 4 to 5% of total damage. And as you know, our best trinket in this patch, the last one, was the bomb dispenser, and that one was doing like 5% of our damage and was really good. So it's the same, this one is the same, and it gives main stat, so it will be really, really strong. So that will be all. Remember, as always, everything can change, and this is information that we have for today. So, bye bye.